Hassan Rouhani, the outgoing president of Iran. He may look to you as the mastermind of every scheme of the Islamist regime of Iran, but he is far from it. He was just a puppet controlled by the supreme leader and the hardline conservatives in the clergy and the military. But there were times when this moderate leader defied the supreme leader and failed to follow his orders. This called for punishment. Rouhani, who at one point was expected to be the next supreme leader of Iran, soon fell out of favor with the hardliners. So, in a sham of an election, he is being booted out and made a scapegoat amid all the troubles faced by Iran. But the truth always comes out, and Rouhani knows this too. So now, on his way out, he is proving himself right. He is not the root cause of Iran's problems. The Iranian regime itself is. And he is challenging the supreme leader and Ibrahim Raisi to go ahead and govern Iran without him if they really can. Hi, and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video, I will tell you about the internal political drama ensuing the Iranian regime. Iran has changed for the worse. The moderate president Hassan Rouhani's term has ended. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has ensured that an ultra-conservative known as the Butcher of Tehran is elected as the next Iranian president, and Khamenei is making sure that the clergy, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the conservative Islamist regime are brought on the same page. And this is pushing Iran into deep turmoil. However, there is a silver lining in Iran's turmoil for its moderate president Hassan Rouhani. Rouhani is fueling the ongoing unrest as a moment of vindication for himself. He is using the unrest in Iran to show that he was right all along, whereas the influence of the conservative Islamist regime is what pushes Iran into anarchy. Rouhani is telling Iranians that he has been scapegoated by the conservatives, but he is the one who held the country together. On Sunday, Iran's outgoing president Hassan Rouhani apologized to the Iranians for the hardships they endured during his 8-year administration. While Rouhani was ostensibly apologizing to the people of Iran for his own administrative failures, the real target was the supreme leader Khamenei. It is an open secret that while Rouhani was the president, he worked under the shadow of the Iranian supreme leader and gave effect to his ideologies and wishes. So Rouhani effectively told the people of Iran that their supreme leader has failed them. Speaking during his final cabinet meeting, Rouhani also acknowledged that his government shared only part of the truth with the people, as he was afraid it would harm national unity. Again, Rouhani is trying to say that even under the tremendous pressure that he faced from the Iranian supreme leader, the conservatives, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, he controlled his nerves in Iran's larger interest. Rouhani said, "What we told people was not contrary to reality, but we did not tell them part of the truth." Interestingly, Iran's president also blamed some factions in a dig at the conservatives controlling the Iranian parliament for disrupting his efforts at reviving the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, which is officially called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. At the same time, Rouhani said, "It is useless to talk about it anymore." JCPOA is an emotive issue in a country like Iran, which is stuck in an unprecedented economic crisis. The Iranian president is saying that he would have got the Iran nuclear deal revived had the conservatives not interfered. Rouhani's remarks echoed what Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif was heard saying in a leaked audio tape in which he accused Major General Qasem Soleimani, the then commander of the IRGC's elite Quds force, of working with Russia to sabotage the Iran nuclear deal. The fact remains that the civilian regime in Iran is inferior to the military regime, and the IRGC, who directly report to the country's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Rouhani is also instigating the opponents of Iran's conservative Islamist regime. Rouhani's plan is to show that Tehran's Islamist regime is also going to fall apart as a consequence of his ouster. So he has gone as far as indicating support for the dissidents in Khuzestan province, which is home to 2 million Ahwazi Arabs. Speaking about protests in Khuzestan, Rouhani said, "Civil protest is one of the fundamental rights of all members of the nation, and managers have a duty to listen to the protests and be humble and tolerant. But there is no doubt that behind these incidents are the dirty hands of the enemy and the provocations of some internal groups." Meanwhile, Khamenei seems to have pushed onto the back foot over this issue. With mounting criticism of the regime in Khuzestan, he seems to be getting apologetic. The Iranian supreme leader said, "The people showed their displeasure, but we cannot really blame the people, and their issues must be taken care of." Similarly, on the issue of water shortages in the Khuzestan province, Rouhani said that the people of the region have the right to speak, express themselves, protest, and even take to the streets within the framework of the regulations. Rouhani is making all such adverse remarks right before Ibrahim Raisi, an ultra-conservative hardliner, is set to take over as the next Iranian president. Raisi, who is known as the Butcher of Tehran for overseeing the execution of thousands of activists, is considered to be a man of Khamenei's choice. The Iranian supreme leader ensured that Raisi was elected even if his main rivals were disqualified, and the voter turnout got reduced to a historic low of 48%. The purpose behind Rouhani's remarks is to put the upcoming regime in a tight spot. The Iranian president is challenging Khamenei and the upcoming president to rule Iran after ousting him. The friction between the moderate Rouhani and the hardline conservatives is therefore peaking, and the Iranian president is thus relishing the moment of his vindication.